Greetings and welcome to Match Play with Ray Adams, a very special show today. I cannot wait to introduce you to my special guest, Mike Bolland. And I am at Discount Tire here in Phoenix, Arizona, a company that was founded many, many years ago by Bruce Holly on some simple principles of treating the customer right and helping people reach their dreams. A company of diversity and inclusion. They gave a young man a chance when he didn't know he was going to get that chance. You know, life deals us some very special challenges sometimes. We all know that. We find ourselves depressed, hurting, maybe sick, afraid, and we have to find a way to shine a light in our darkness. And we fall back on resources like family, friends, neighbors, and sometimes very special people that encourage us, inspire us, and uplift us. Mike Bolland is one of those people that will do that for you today, although he's been through his challenges as well. But when you're around Mike and people like him, they find ways to inspire and uplift us because of their own challenges and the darkness that they went through and found their way to shine a light in that darkness. When you're around them, you're uplifted, and well, they just make you feel good. A guy who was a child actor, a guy who was a professional bowler, a guy who became a director at Discount Tire over his career, and then through life-changing and threatening cancer, another dark moment for Mike. He changed careers, and a sideline career became being a stand-up comedian. We're going to talk all about that. We will get to the golf course a little bit later. We're going to go in and meet Mike Bolland right now. Oh, and did I tell you, Mike Bolland was born without a right hand. Mike, it's great to be inside Discount Tire, where all of your career started, right there at the tire changing machine, when your younger brother taught you how to do it. And what I love about Discount Tire is that it's a company of inclusivity, diversity. Bruce Holly started this company many years ago to help people reach their dreams and treat the customer right. How did you find the company and their inclusivity of you when you started here?
Well, you know, my brother was already working for the organization, and I saw how well he was doing, because this is a very good company to work for. We're very fortunate. And he gave me the opportunity to, through my brother, was able to apply for a position and go to the store and see how it was for a one-handed person to actually change a tire. And I was able to do it, and they offered me a job.
So going back before your Discount Tire days, you were on the professional bowling tour. Yeah. How did you get started, and how did that go for you, being a one-handed person?
Well, you know, it was interesting. A friend of mine asked me to start bowling when I was 13, and I just had a passion for it. And I never not wanted to practice. I mean, if I was going to go bowl 50 games, I'd go bowl 50 games. So that's one of the things that I was able to take with me. And, you know, I was able to stay on and off the tour for a couple of years there. I'm so glad I started my career at Discount Tire, but I look back at those days fondly, and it was a lot of fun,
Mike, growing up as a young person and participating in a lot of different sports and activities, and of course you had your brother who had both of his hands, you had one, but you didn't know better. And I've heard you say that you feel like it's almost a blessing that you had one hand.
Yeah, you know what? I can't imagine myself any other way. This is the way I was born, this is the way I am, and I've never looked at it any differently. This is the way I'm supposed to be, and that's just the way it's always been for me.
When I met Mike, through golf, of course, he was very uplifting and encouraging to me. And he had just won a big award from a nonprofit foundation for many, many years of help and service, support, donations of money and time. And I admired you for that, Mike. Did not know that Mike had been listening to my radio show for years. Yes. We didn't know each other at the time. But your story became very inspiring and uplifting to me. For you, Mike, you're a person, and I think there's many people like you, but all of us need to learn from this. You never ask if I could do something. You figured out how I can do it.
Yeah, it's an interesting perspective, Ray. I'm glad you brought that up. I don't look at things as, hey, I wonder how a two-handed person do it, and then back into how I do it. It's always how I need to approach it. And I'll give all the credit to my parents. They were always the type of people that gave me encouragement to be able to do things. And both my dad and I really liked working on vehicles. You know, it's kind of great that I work at Discount Tire. And whenever he would give me a tool or something like that, and most of the time, I would have to figure out how to use it. He'd help me out a little bit here, but here's a little tip for one-handed people. Vice grips are your friend.
Vice grips.
Vice grips. They can hold that nut on the other side while you're doing things.
Now, you and your dad worked on a vintage vehicle that you still have. Tell me about that.
I still own that vehicle. I'm very fortunate. It's a 1951 Chrysler Windsor. Bought it in 1981, and I bought that vehicle the first time the movie I was in, The Trial of Billy Jack, was on television.
Yeah.
Got some residuals and bought that vehicle. So there's still a part of that Trial of Billy Jack that I live with every day. That's the restored 1951 Chrysler Windsor Deluxe.
Well, the Trial of Billy Jack and the Billy Jack movies, they're iconic, and they're also cult classics. Big following with a lot of people. How in the world, as a child actor, did you get in the movie?
Well, I lucked into it. Let's face it. They said they needed a kid with one hand, and I raised my hand. Well, no, I raised this hand. I don't know which hand I raised, but actually, it was very, very fortunate. They needed.
Where were you that you were able to raise your hand?
Well, at the time, they were the people that were looking, the production company, to put the movie on. They were working with a local company that makes prosthetics, and at the time, I wore a hook. It's called Crippled Children of Arizona, and a few of us, I think there was like two. There's not a lot of people, although two-handed people say they see one-handed people all over, but there wasn't a lot of children that were up for it. And I'm very lucky to get the part, and it's something that I look back on fondly. And why wouldn't you? It was a lot of fun.
Tell me how Tom Laughlin and his family received you, and how you responded to them.
They were so kind to me and my family, and for a few years there after. We would exchange Christmas cards, and for those that remember the Billy Jack series, Tom Laughlin's character Billy Jack was a very sensible person, a very caring person, but his character also, he got a few fights here and there to protect people, right? Yeah. To protect people. To know him, he was such a genuine, nice person. He was such a nice person to me,
and a real person about diversity too.
Yes, absolutely. That's what his message was all about. The Freedom School in Trial of Billy Jack, the one I was in, was all about that.
From child acting to professional bowling to starting your career here at this wonderful discount tire company. We're at the 1,000th store, by the way, here in Phoenix, Arizona. I may have mentioned that, but with that said, taking us through your career, you become an executive, but then you struggled with cancer.
Yes.
One day you felt a lump. The next day they said you've got cancer. It was life-threatening cancer. And can you just take me through that? And then how did your life change? How were you able to find the resources to shine a light in your darkness?
It's never as easy. It's just never easy, You need family, you need friends, you need that. You need a good support staff, even on the medical side. I'm very fortunate that Discount Tire was able to even help me on that side. Mm-hmm. It's one of those that it's very difficult to go it alone. I don't want to say it's impossible. I'm sure people have done it, but I don't know how I would have been able to do it without my wife, my kids, my brother, my sister, my dad at the time, who's no longer with us, unfortunately.
And I think Discount Tire very supportive.
They were. There's a health department, executive health department within Discount Tire that gave me the direction that I needed. Because when you're diagnosed, you're not thinking as clearly and you need that direction.
Yeah.
And even your support group is a little concerned about you, and mm-hmm. you're going down uncharted waters.
Mike, during that time of cancer and your treatments and recovery, were you able to participate in other sports you love, like bowling and golf?
To a certain extent. It took a while for me to get my energy back up to do that, but shortly after, I was able to enjoy golf.
How about when we come back, Mike and I are going to go to the golf course. You stay right there with us. We will be right back.
We'll be back with more Match Play right after these messages.